Still, a child once held in my arms. Good evening and welcome to Senior Night Radio. This is the quiet hour, when the day finally loosens its grip and the world slows down enough for the heart to speak. The lights grow softer, the rooms grow still, and the thoughts that were carefully held back during the day begin to surface on their own. If you are listening alone tonight, or if the house feels a little too quiet, you are not in the wrong place. This hour was made for moments just like this. Moments when nothing needs to be solved and nothing needs to be explained. Tonight, I want to speak about a sentence many parents carry deep inside. A sentence they rarely say out loud. A sentence that returns again and again in the stillness of night. Still, a child once held in my arms. This sentence does not sound dramatic. It is not loud. It does not demand attention. And yet, for many parents, it carries more weight than 1,000 conversations. It is spoken quietly, often only to oneself. Sometimes it sounds like comfort. Sometimes it sounds like resignation. And sometimes it sounds like the last thread holding the heart together. There are days when parents feel strong. Days when they tell themselves that everything is fine, that children grow up. That distance is natural. That independence is something to be proud of. But then there are nights like this one. Nights when unanswered messages linger longer than they should. Nights when silence feels heavier than words. And in those moments, parents return to this sentence. Still, a child once held in my arms. Parents are often surprised by their own hearts. With most people, when hurt accumulates, distance feels like protection. Stepping back feels reasonable. But with children, distance does not heal in the same way. The more parents try to step away emotionally, the deeper the ache seems to grow. That is why parents rarely speak of resentment. Not because it does not exist, but because it has nowhere to go. To say, a child once held in my arms, is not simply to remember the past. It is to remember the nights without sleep. The small body pressed against one's chest. The quiet counting of breaths during fevers. The fear of not knowing what to do. And the determination to figure it out anyway. It is to remember the weight of responsibility that arrived the moment that child entered the world. Long before words like boundaries, independence, or distance had any meaning. Children were never a choice parents weighed carefully with conditions attached. They were not a contract. They were not an agreement. They arrived. And with them came a silent reorganization of life itself. Plans shifted. Dreams were postponed. Desires were redefined, not out of obligation, but because love quietly rearranged priorities without asking for permission. In those years, parents rarely described themselves as lonely. They were too busy. They were needed. Being needed gave purpose to exhaustion. It made long days feel justified. Parents learnt to say, "I'm fine," even when they were not. Because stopping felt dangerous. If they stopped, everything might collapse. And then, one day, without any formal announcement, the house grows quieter. Schedules loosen. The calls become shorter. The urgency fades. Parents do not notice it all at once. It happens gradually, so quietly that it almost feels polite. Until one evening, like this one, when the silence becomes impossible to ignore. That is when parents realize something has changed. The child who once filled every corner of their life now occupies a smaller space. Not because the child loves less, but because life has expanded elsewhere. Careers, families, responsibilities, worries of their own. Parents understand this logically. They truly do. But understanding does not prevent the heart from reacting. Mixed emotions begin to gather. Pride and sadness sit side by side. Gratitude and resentment brush against each other. Joy and grief share the same space. Parents feel proud of the lives their children are building. And at the same time, they quietly mourn the absence of their own presence in those lives. These feelings do not cancel each other out. They coexist. Quietly confusing, deeply human. Many parents feel guilt during this stage of life. They question themselves. Am I asking for too much? Am I being selfish? Should I already be beyond this? They worry that acknowledging their pain might burden their children, so they stay quiet. They listen carefully. They choose their words cautiously. They avoid saying what they truly feel. Instead, they repeat the sentence inwardly. Still a child once held in my arms. This sentence is not meant to accuse. It is not meant to excuse. It is not a judgment. It is a reminder to the parent themselves. That love does not disappear simply because circumstances change. That the bond was formed long before expectations existed. Parents know their children cannot remain in their arms forever. They know independence is necessary. They know letting go is part of love. But knowing does not erase instinct. The instinct to protect, to worry, to hope for reassurance. The heart does not age at the same pace as the body. That is why a missed call can feel heavier than it should. Why a short reply can echo longer than intended. Why silence, even when innocent, can awaken old fears. Parents do not fear being unimportant. They fear becoming invisible. And yet, even in these moments, parents rarely withdraw completely. They do not close the door. They do not sever the connection. They wait. They watch. They remain available, not because they expect something in return, but because love trained them to stay. Parental love is not confined to the present moment. It stretches backward into memory and forward into imagination. Parents remember who their children were, who they are now, and who they might become. They worry about future hardships they may never witness. They hope for joys they may only hear about secondhand. As parents grow older, their love does not diminish. It becomes quieter, less demanding, less visible. It transforms into something that waits rather than reaches, something that listens more than it speaks. If you are listening tonight and recognize yourself in these words, know this: your feelings are not a failure of maturity. They are not a weakness. They are evidence of a long, deeply invested love, a love that did not vanish when circumstances changed. Aging does not mean caring less. Often it means caring in silence, without interruption, without acknowledgement, without reassurance. That kind of love can feel lonely. That is why nights feel heavier than days. During the day, distractions soften the edges. At night, the heart speaks more honestly. If tonight feels heavy, let it be. You do not need to fix it. You do not need to explain it. You are allowed to rest here. Still, a child once held in your arms. And that love, even now, is still with you. You are listening to Senior Night Radio. Thank you for being here tonight. May your heart feel lighter. And may sleep come gently when it is ready. Good night.